Good morning, UPB from OptionMillionaires.com. Welcome to August. It is August 1st. Look at the S&P 500 ETF. The spiders are up almost near the highs that we saw late in the afternoon yesterday before a nice $1.30 decline. So we're right back where we were. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Very resilient market considering we're at pretty much all-time highs. And you can see where we've been the last 10 days has been a chop fest, what I would like to call consolidation. If you pull back a little further, we've had a nice rise up. I called this V bottom here back in June. This was the last Fed meeting, okay? And this candle is the Fed meeting that happened yesterday, or concluded yesterday. You remember they came out. This is the real taper talk. The initial high that we saw in the market was the whisper of taper, and then this was Federal Reserve coming out, being a little ambiguous. The market didn't like it, and we hit lows that we haven't seen actually since, gosh, April and March, and now have rallied. So if you just take this chart, look at the gains we've had, and then look at this consolidation. This to me is consolidation. This is people selling for profits and people who aren't in the market yet or want to increase their position buying more stocks. It's a consolidation, and then once we run out of sellers, it's going to head higher. And futures are up higher, and I expect at some point within the next couple days to break out over 170 on the S&P 500 ETF. The spiders. It's going to be a very bullish summer. And I say sell in May. Again, this is going to be another year where I don't think that's going to be the case. And think about it, all of the declines that we've seen, taper talk, every kind of decline has had an excuse in this market over the last 3 to 4 years. We've had the European debt crisis. We've had the fiscal cliff. We've had Cyprus. I mean, the list goes on and on. So if there's no headline out there that's going to cause any kind of pullback, it's just going to keep grinding higher. It might not be pretty. It might not happen with 150-point moves on Dow Jones Industrial Average to the upside, but it's going to happen, and we're going to see a nice slow grind higher. So let's move into some stocks that are reporting earnings today. How about LinkedIn? That's the big headlining earnings play this trading day. It's Thursday. Today is August 1st, Thursday. It's after the bell today, and you can see the stock. If you go back a little further, it's broken out of a nice consolidation. Let's just pull back a little further. There we go. Okay, you can see it's spiked up. Remember, this is when they were issuing more shares. Broke out of this channel to the upside, and the chart still looks very bullish. The question is just how high, in my opinion, and that's the issue. A lot of people would be trading this for earnings, so the options are probably going to be pretty expensive. So unless you go really far out of the money and we get a 15% move to the upside, the odds of making money aren't that good on LinkedIn. But again, we've seen it with Netflix and a couple other earnings trades out there that surprise to the upside with tremendous moves. So that's a possibility here with LinkedIn. And it's another one of these stocks like Tesla that nobody believes in, as it just continues to churn higher. There's a beautiful bull flag here on Tesla. This is the Goldman Sachs negative report about a week and a half ago. Came right back up, hit new all-time highs, and then Citron Research came out and said, "Oh, I'm shorting the stock." Now it's pretty interesting with Tesla. You have some analysts like Bank of America Merrill Lynch who thinks this is a $39 stock, and we have at least two other analysts who think it is a $200 or $230 stock. So you have people on both sides of the playing field. And pre-market, I believe we're up to the bid about 136, almost near all-time highs. So it's just pretty amazing. If you go to Citron Research and look at a stock like Zillow, they said the same thing about Zillow here. How this stock is just garbage, and then it, I don't know, triples in value. Yeah, so how'd that work out for them? I think Tesla, you just got to play with what the market's giving you. And to me, the market's given this stock continued gains. It could keep going to 200 without as much batting an eye. Seems to just shrug off the negative sentiment out there. And tremendous short interest. A lot of people don't like the stock. So if Citron Research is shorting it, as they said they were, once it breaks, for instance, 140, they might second guess their decision to short it and cover, and that's just going to continue to add to the buying of the stock and head it to probably $200. Going to be interesting to see. Let's move on to a couple others. I wanted to cover TLT. TLT tried to break down yesterday. Federal Reserve came out and said, "Yeah, we're going to taper." No, they just came out and said we're going to buy bonds. They're not going to pull back their $85 billion worth of mortgage-backed securities and treasuries. So that was a temporary bullish remark that sent bonds, you can see the slow grind higher, and then when the Federal Reserve minutes came out, spiked to the upside. I still think this is a great long-term put play, and I think overall, look at this chart. To me, it looks a lot like gold and silver. Gold and silver had similar moves up into these wedges, break to the upside, and it has broken down in this 105 level, 106.23, but ultimately we want to see a break through 105 and then 100. I think that's going to happen within the next couple trading sessions. I just wanted to point out too, another reason for the rally we've seen. We have the Nikkei futures are up over 3%. We have the dollar-yen cross also moving higher, which is means a weaker yen. And that, I think, is going to help drive TLT lower today. So if we open over 107.50, I think it's going to be a good short-term put trade. Even today, you can get the weeklies. That's something I might get into. I'll let you know in the chat room at optionmillionaires.com. A couple other charts that I want to bring up, and then we'll call it a day. Start focusing on the opening bell. I still like Apple. I mean, look at this. To me, this is a beautiful bottoming pattern. And once we break this 462 level, and a lot of people have been pointing out, see the small dotted line, the 457 level, which has been rejected now twice in the last 2 months. Actually, twice this week. I think it's going to break out. I do. That's what the chart looks like to me. And if you look a longer term perspective for Apple, we have the rise up from 2003, consolidation, or a bull flag, and then another rise from 2000, the financial crisis, I believe, was November 2008, when Steve Jobs announced that he had the pancreatic cancer, or was announced. That was the lows, and then we've rallied now into September 2012, and have pulled back since then until just recently in April when we hit our lows, and we've been kind of working off of that, working for a move to stop that decline, and I think that decline is stopping. And I think once the momentum starts for Apple, it's not going to stop until we hit new all-time highs. It's kind of like stopping, a heavy freight train. That's what's happening here. And now, once you get it moving in the other direction, the momentum is going to be in the other direction, which is to the upside. So we like Apple. I like Apple personally for upside. How about HLF? I talked about this numerous times over the last 6 to 9 months. This is one of those stocks, obviously, with Icon and Ackman, and now we have Soros. It's setting up for a massive loss for Bill Ackman, who is probably right. But look at this. We had the beautiful head and shoulders, broke out to the upside, broke through resistance, is now acting as support. We had that decline after earnings yesterday, or actually, I should say 2 days ago. And then yesterday, we rose 9% on a report that Soros has a stake. And look at the volume here at the highs. So it'll be interesting to see. I think ultimately that the cap short term is 70 on HLF, and at that point, I'll probably look to get some puts. But for now, it's something you just want to stay away from. And then it's a double whammy for Ackman, as JCPenney just can't bust out of this long-term downtrend. I thought it was going to happen on a couple occasions, just hasn't. And we have a downgrade out this morning, putting a price target at $11. And it's pretty ironic. Here's Ackman doing all of this awful stock picking. Awful, just plain awful, losing money hand over fist. And then he's able to raise money for an SPV to purchase shares in Air Products, APD, which is up 2.87%. Actually upgraded this morning. So he's doing good on this one so far. I remember watching CNBC. I don't watch CNBC often, but they were talking about this, and I'm like, this stock is at all-time highs. Why? Kind of like what Buffett did when he bought, what was it, Schmuckers? Anyway, yeah, the stock's at all-time highs, and the guy takes a position. I don't know. It's just kind of funny. He's setting himself up again, I think. But so let's move on. We got one more stock I just want to bring up, or two more stocks, and then we'll call it a morning. We have Bud, which was up 6.38%. Look at that. Just off of all-time highs. But that brings me to SAM, a stock that Jimmy Bob at OptionMillionaires.com has been talking about for a long, long time. And while he's been talking about it positively, all of the analysts have been negative on it. They might budge up there. Seemingly, SAM will have a wonderful quarter, and the analysts will just budge up their numbers just a little bit. But looks like today is going to be the real breakout for SAM. And you can see the same thing I've been talking about. We're in an uptrend in this market, and just look at Sam. It's in an uptrend. So look at the last 3 weeks for Sam. Consolidation, beautiful. This is a beautiful bull flag. So there's a consolidation, and we're going to get that spike up over $200 today. It's going to be a really nice move. Been talking about it at optionmillionaires.com. Stock twits, Twitter. Jimmy Bob's just been hammered. Every time he talks bullish about Sam, they're like, "Oh, PE ratio, PE. When does a PE ratio matter in this market?" Right? The Federal Reserve told you they told you yesterday, we're going to print money forever, pretty much. So just think about it. When do you think the unemployment rate is going to drop to 6.5% or below? Right? Do you see people getting jobs hand over fist? I don't think so. So just assume for now that the Federal Reserve is going to print forever. They have no choice. And they're never going to unwind their balance sheet. That's bullish for stocks. And especially as interest rates start to rise. People aren't going to want to put their money into bonds. They're going to put it into stocks. All right, UPB from optionmillionaires.com. So we have LinkedIn after the bell. It's going to be pretty interesting. And this morning, probably about an hour, we'll have CME report earnings. That's going to be the two big earnings trades today. All right, UPB. Everyone have a great trading session. I'll see you later. Goodbye.